Long before the geometry of the mind ever took shape, there was only the radiant pulse of infinite desire. This energy is Keter, or the crown. It sits physically above the head because it represents the superconscious, a dimension of pure potential that surrounds human awareness rather than residing within the brain. This is the realm of unconditioned will. It exists in the millisecond before logic or emotion even activate, driven by a primordial experience of pure delight. In this way, Keter acts as your highest psychological superpower. It is that sudden, completely unexplainable flash of divine inspiration where you instantly realize exactly why you are alive. The Kabbalists described this state of pre-matter as ayin, or nothingness. It represents a matrix of boundless, unrestricted possibilities, a state that is free to manifest as anything because it lacks specific boundaries. This mystical architecture mirrors the principles of quantum wave mechanics. In this framework, matter exists as an unformed field of infinite probability until it is measured and forced into a localized state. Formulating this behavior required Erwin Schrödinger to step outside classical physics, relying on a sudden flash of insight. This breakthrough was catalyzed by the unconventional matter-wave hypothesis of Louis de Broglie. Adopting this holistic view allowed Schrödinger to access revolutionary creation. This suggests why unformed inspiration feels so powerful. Like a quantum wave that has not yet collapsed into a single point, the creative impulse retains its maximum energy precisely because it has not yet been forced into a physical shape. However, this flow of inspiration contains a psychological hazard, the shadow block. It occurs when the mind becomes trapped in the infinite potential of Keter, unable to leave the realm of imagination. The ego can become addicted to the pure pleasure of what could be. It falls in love with the fantasy and refuses to undergo the painful restriction required to make that fantasy real. This is the state of tohu, or chaos. You generate massive lights of inspiration, but because you lack the structured vessels of discipline to hold them, the cognitive containers of your life shatter under the pressure. You might envision 1,000 perfect versions of a project, but because any physical manifestation requires choosing a single limited form, you remain frozen. In the shadow block, you become a battery that never connects to a wire. You live entirely in your imagination while suffering from functional paralysis in the physical world. The solution is tikkun, or rectification. The only way to utilize the infinite power of Keter is to pull it down and ground it into Malkuth, the dimension of physical action. This downward movement is mathematically coded into the word Keter itself. Its letters, Kaf, Tav, and Resh, have a combined numerical value of 620. This number corresponds to the 620 divine commandments, which represent a complete system of physical actions. It suggests that the highest spiritual will finds its purpose only when it reaches the floor of the physical world. We see this in the first letter of Keter, the Kaf. Shaped like a hollow vessel or a bent palm, it represents the act of submission. It models the moment the unformed will is caught and held by the rigid laws of reality. The greatest spiritual heights are worthless unless they are submitted to and encapsulated within the vessels of daily discipline. This requires a shift to voluntary tzimtzum, or constructive limitation. You must willingly embrace the restriction of your ideas into a single, localized action. To ground this power, you must transition from a self-centered ego that fears failure into a selfless conduit dedicated to a higher calling. Potential is beautiful, but if it never travels down the circuit board, it remains a ghost. You must learn to pull the light down. Your highest potential is waiting to be downloaded. You just have to build the vessel to hold it. If you want to master the hidden architecture of your own mind, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single node. Let's unlock the tree of life together.